What's up, Serotonin Squad? Hope you're ready for a fun-filled, amazing Serotonin Diaries today. I'm getting my friend AJ on here, and it is going to be a blast. So, Serotonin Squad, without further ado, someone who is a very important person in my life has guided me to some major life breakthroughs is here. This is my friend AJ.
What up?
He is a flow artist. He is also a massage therapist, guru, pretty much jack of all trades. Pretty much, if he wants to do it, he does it. And I want to get an interview with him later on, talking about how he can tap into his flow, how you can tap into your flow, and everything in between. So, we're gonna do a quick fire point burn at his pad. And I will get that for you guys as well. So, catch you guys then. What's good, Serotonin Squad? I am here with someone very dear and special to me, my homie AJ.
What up?
Who is also a flow artist, massage therapist, fixer-upper of cars, pretty much anything that he wants to do, he just goes out and does, you know? So, how did you really get into finding out that it was kind of, flow art was kind of so simple enough in the real world? Like, how did you figure out that, like...
How did I analog it?
Yes! How did you analog flow arts to the real world?
Well, it just comes down to, simple lessons or simple ideas that are extrapolated from flow. Just, moving forward, when you drop something or, learning from your mistakes. It's very simple stuff that analogs out of just the action of flowing.
Okay.
Just living.
And for those that don't know out there, what exactly is flow?
So, flow, just in terms of flow in just general, or just flow arts?
We'll first flow arts, and then we'll go into the state of flow.
So flow arts is basically flowing or moving and interacting with a prop of some type, be it like balls, juggling, like juggling for example, or like fire staffs or poi, or just different props.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then just like the state of flow is when you just, how to define that? You're just getting into the moment, I suppose, and going with reality as the moment moves forward, and just keeping with the moment, and focusing as well, and just keeping with what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're actually doing, and just flowing with it.
That's one of the big lessons that I really learned from AJ throughout the years, is kind of just going with your intuition. And we were actually talking about that earlier in the car, of how inside of us we all know kind of like what's right, what's dangerous, what's not, something that we can move forward with, and a lot of us don't act on that. We kind of suppress it. We're like, oh, what if we're kind of scared of this feeling that I want to do something, but something's holding me back.
The unknown, or the future, or being afraid of the future and whatnot. But also, like in the car, trusting our instinct. Like you're just like, we suppress our instinct, and we don't trust our gut enough, and trust that like programmed intelligence.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Like that instinct being programmed intelligence.
And it's in us, it's in you, it's in everybody. We all have it. And like you were saying before, it's in plants, it's in animals. Would you like to give the crowd a little thing about the dog example?
Well, like, so a dog like will react to certain dogs anyway, like have that instinct to be afraid of a snake being poisonous, be it like the coloration on the snake,
Mm-hmm.
like it'll signify that that's dangerous, and the dog will know that just out of its own intelligence and its own instinct of, I shouldn't go near that, I should be afraid of that, and it moves away from it.
Exactly, and that's a lot of like what we have as humans as well. Sometimes we have those fears like, don't go into a construction site without a hat, or sometimes we have irrational fears as well, where it's like, oh, don't go near this girl because you're kind of scared to talk to her. But I believe a big lesson in flow is kind of trying to figure out the differences between the actual dangers and just the mental blockades that we have in the moment. So you're a massage therapist.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like that as a profession?
I love my job.
That's what I like. So yeah, sorry about that. I just got a phone call for a barbecue. Might go to. I'll get some footage of that later. But we were talking about massage therapy, and how do you kind of use your state of flow in massage? Because I know that you use that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like, because in massage therapy, being the massage therapist and being the one doing the activity and like performing the massage, you have to be very confident in your flow of what you're doing, like very in touch with people,
Mm-hmm.
and just literally, because you're feeling their body, and to respect someone else, and like that trust, and like in me as a massage professional,
Mm-hmm.
it takes that confidence to just flow and know what I'm doing, and trust that this moment, this is okay, what I'm doing is okay. They're not telling me or giving me feedback that it's what I'm doing isn't effective, or
Mm-hmm.
You do have to communicate as well, and so that's part of the flow is communicating and getting into knowing what that person needs, and essentially delivering that.
And with flow as communication and everything, how has it affected like your communication skills with people over the years, would you say?
It's essentially healed my communication skills in the sense of being very socially anxious, but then going into one-on-one interactions with these people, these strangers at points of, uh, and being able to just talk to them and not be so anxious. It's helped me so much.
Definitely. And so a lot of people don't know out there that there are flow festivals that are out there. Are those some of those things that may have also helped with the socially anxious parts? Because I know with a lot of flow artists, they're really open about what they do. They want you to try what they're doing. If you're like, oh, that looks really cool.
They want you to learn.
They want you to learn, exactly. So how has that really kind of impacted you in a positive way, and in what way would that be?
The flow community in that it's impacted me, in awesome ways. It's easiest to say awesome because you come into these moments of awe in the flow community where that in that learning, in that environment, that acceptance, that inclusion of community, that it makes it so easy to feel accepted, and that it breaks that illusion that you're not wanted around, and that you weren't wanted to be heard or interacted with. It's very different. People just come up and break that ice of and just talk with you, learn, interact, play, just be human.
Kind of like from what I've heard, I haven't been to a flow festival yet. Really want to. I've heard of Master Ong's.
Yes.
And I heard that's a really, really good flow fest. But interacting with flow artists, kind of in the wild, I guess you would say, it's really like there are no barriers. There are no like boundaries. You immediately connect like one on one. You're like, oh, you do this, I do that. Let's flow together.
Yeah, it's very simple. It's very literal, physical, and people just interact and things happen.
It kind of reminds me of like being a child, and how you have the childlike wonder of everything, and you can go up to anybody and be like, "Hi, I'm this guy. Let's be friends."
Pretty much. I mean, like it's maybe not in that tone, but it's very much in that idea of just like you can go up and talk to anyone. You can go up and just like start spinning someone else's props, and we'll be completely okay with it. You just talk to them and make a connection, and it's like eventually you feel like the community has your back, because just people just are kind, and that kindness it's very therapeutic in a social setting of community where you don't really feel like that in the world sometimes, where it's like you feel alone, no one really does have your back, but then you also have your family and then your friends, and it's important to remember those things.
Oh, 100% agree.
And that's what the flow community really helped like inspire in me, of understanding that I'm not alone, and that I can have friends. They're very awesome moments, like, because you're just in awe.
It's such a wonderful, wonderful thing. If you guys don't know about flow, look up some videos online on some flow artists. I'll post some links in the description down below to some of our favorite artists. And if you could, do you have any advice for anybody out there in the world that you might want to pass on?
Probably breathe. Breathing is important. Like to flow and be human, oxygen and breathing is so important. So it's just, if I could give any advice, is breathe. It's one of the things like Burning Dan is very keen on reminding people to do, because if you take a breath and you can allow your body to really relax. And it's like me being a massage therapist, it's like me being me. It's like to just breathe and be yourself. It's very important. So to just have the simple reminder to breathe that's what I would say.
Yeah, to breathe. Like, just remind yourself that you're in this moment, into your state of flow, and do what you need to do. So I just want to say thank you, AJ, for the amazing interview.
You're welcome.
And definitely we will be cruising around, catching some Pokemon in a little bit for Pokemon Go. And then I might be going to a barbecue later, so I will post more on that later. But until then, catch you guys later.